Alright, so Quando Rando is off to prison, or is he? Rapper Quando Rando has been sentenced to 33 months in prison for federal drug charges. Have y'all seen the video with Quando Rando when after he came out of the courthouse? Quando Rando looked happy as hell. He was speaking to the news media. They asked him how he feel about his sentence. He said, "Man, I did wrong and I'm being punished for it. So the message is do right, don't do wrong." I mean, that was straight to the point. That was what you call accountability. No faking it. No, the system hates me. No, oh, I'm poor. I'm a black man. I grew up in the trenches. None of that. I did wrong. And I'm being punished for it. And the message is do right, don't do wrong. There are consequences to your wrongs. I respect them for that. Georgia rapper Quando Rando was sentenced to 33 months in prison on Wednesday for conspiracy to possess and distribute marijuana. Rondo, whose real name is Tyquane Bowman, originally faced up to 5 years, but he struck a plea deal with the U.S. Department of Justice in August to plead guilty only to the marijuana charge, and they would drop the other charges and related offenses. Sometimes it be like that. This ain't checkers. This is chess, right? As the older people would say. Now, the sentencing by Judge R. Stan Baker marks the end of a federal case that began almost exactly a year ago for Quando Rando. In that case, had gone to trial. If they had taken this to trial, the U.S. attorneys were expected to call expert witnesses who specialize in criminal street gangs and drug distribution. That could have worked out very badly for Quando Rando because, the specialists, experts would have gathered their evidence. They would have said, listen, he is a active Crip gang member involved in all types of stuff, blah, blah, blah. Who knows how that would have came out. Now, Southern District of Georgia U.S. Attorney Bradley Thompson requested that Quando Rando receive 37 months in prison and pay a $50,000 fine. He said that children look up to this rapper and hopes that will inspire him to stay on a better path to do better with his life. Thompson then referenced details of a new song that seemed to make a match to what he was saying. Life Goes On, which is a new track that was released by Quando Rando. In the music video, Quando Rando released blue and white balloons to commemorate Sylvia Robinson, a close friend who was murdered in Los Angeles in August of 2022. We're talking about Pop, and that was his name that Quando Rando them called him. And he wasn't just a close friend. He was actually his relative, right? It's the same situation that has rapper Lil Durk caught up, as in they are saying that Lil Durk actually sanctioned and paid for and facilitated that murder. Back to the Quando Rando story. The reference to those lyrics slots into a larger legal trend over the past few years in which rappers' songs are used as evidence in a courtroom. Well, this is one case where they tried to use his lyrics to actually save him, saying that you can listen to the song he is making. He's a changed person. He's been through some things, and he was coping with some heavy things. So have some leniency on him, Your Honor. In November, the Grammy-winning rapper Lil Durk was charged in an alleged murder-for-hire plot targeting Quando Rando, which resulted in the death of Robinson. That's according to the prosecutors. This is an alleged situation. They're going to have to go to court and prove that Lil Durk did that. However, that's the scenario that's playing out right now. So it's the same person. The blue and white represents the colors of the Crip street gang, Thompson said, adding that he hoped that Quando Rando was no longer a part of that criminal organization. Quando Rondo's defense attorney, Tom Withers, meanwhile, requested that the court sentence him to 24 months, not 37 months imprisonment, citing unique circumstances, including a changing legal landscape surrounding marijuana charges and criminality of youthful offenders. The laws are changing. Not so many people are going to prison for marijuana anymore. You might end up in jail a little bit, but unless they catch you with like a whole lot, you probably won't be doing any stretch of a time, right? Now, Withers argued that Quando Rando was leaving the gang activity behind and that the rapper had succeeded despite a rough childhood that included him being scalded with the iron as an infant. Somebody heat up an iron and pressed it on him, burnt him as an infant. He was abused, and he was raised in a foster care system, so he has other issues he's dealing with. Quando Rando then made a personal statement to the courts in which he accepted the responsibility. Now, Baker ultimately accepted Quando Rando's plea agreement and sentenced him to 33 months, which is 3 years, and then 3 years rather of supervised release and a $40,000 fine instead of a $50,000. His sentence will begin on January 10th of 2025. So for this point, he is home. He gets a chance to enjoy Christmas with his family. He gets a chance to bring in the New Year with his family. And then a few days after the New Year's, you get to turn yourself in to go do 33 months in prison. 33 months, 12 months in a year. That's 2 years and almost 3 years. And then after that, he'll be on 3 years of supervised release. The judge took into consideration that Quando Rando was not in a gang, but that he had been at one point, and that he called his actions a sophisticated conspiracy. Y'all remember when Quando Rando, after Pop got killed out in LA, and he screamed, "No!" and he ran around in a circle, and some people were being very cold and callous. You know, people would type stuff on social media like, "People get shot every day, B. Niggas die every day, B. Niggas get shot every day, B." Right? And then you also had these seasoned, harder gang members who are older, who started putting out messages on social media for Quando Rando. Quando Rando said, "I want to quit the gang. I want to leave. Because ain't nobody riding for you when shit goes down. And this ain't it." So they sent a message that said, "You don't get on social media and say you want to get out of a gang. That ain't how it work. You got to go back to the hood that put you on and get put off." I don't know. Kind of remind me of that movie, Blood In, Blood Out. You know, if you were blooded in, you got to be blooded out. In other words, if they beat your ass to get in there, they're probably going to have to beat your ass to get out. And I'm suspecting that the beating of the ass to get out is probably a more severe beating it's going to be than to get in. They want you to survive coming in. I don't think they want you to survive going out. Anyways, I don't think Quando Rando went through the putting off process where he went back to the hood that put him on to get put off. Well, he just told everybody he's done with gang life. He's now a Muslim. I think he was lining himself up for going to prison. So by the time he get there, he won't seem like somebody who ran to the Muslim cart for protection. He was already a Muslim before he came in. Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you think the same thing? Either way, it is what it is. He's a Muslim. Lil Durk's a Muslim. Other Muslims, imams and whatnot, are saying that, you know, gang beef, street beef has nothing to do with Islam and with Allah's business. And in the sight of Allah, they are brothers, Quando Rando and his brother. So they should put the beef that they have aside, Lil Durk and Quando Rando, and come together as Muslim brothers. Well, let's see how that goes. Let's see how that goes. The judge gave him a good piece of time. I don't know. Quando Rando said, "I'm committed to giving back to Savannah and I apologized to my hometown. He apologized to a whole bunch of people. He actually said there are people out here that depend on us, and we didn't get into this rap thing to just be bums and be nobodies. It's hard enough just to get in and to blow up. And we've been blessed with that opportunity to do that. So we need to turn the table around and start doing positive things with this blessing we've been given. He really sounded mature, but it's funny how ninjas sound real mature and real intelligent, real humble when it's time for them to go do a bid or when they're standing in front of the police or in front of a judge. But outside of all that, they the same people that be wildin' and you can't tell them nothing. Let's hope that this is a positive change that's permanent for Quando Rando. Outside of the courthouse, Withers and Quando Rando declined to give any comments. He was just hugging his family members and his friends. He actually did give a comment. He actually did say, I did wrong and I'm being punished for it. So the message of the day is do right. What was he charged with? Well, in the original indictment, the federal prosecutors charged Quando Rando with 1 count of conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute and 1 count to distribute controlled substances. The indictment alleged that beginning in January of 2021, Quando Rando conspired with 2 other co-defendants to distribute cocaine, methamphetamine, fentanyl, and marijuana. As part of the plea deal agreement, the government agreed to dismiss part of that count, particularly that Bowman conspired to possess and distribute methamphetamine, fentanyl, and cocaine. The government also pledged to return property it seized from Quando Rando as part of the federal charges, including his jewelry, which they took away, and I believe some cars and whatever else. The sentencing marks just one part of the larger legal puzzle for Quando Rando, though, because on June 14th, a grand jury indicted him for conspiracy to violate the Georgia Controlled Substance Act and violation of Street Gang Terrorism Act, illegal use of a communication facility, and another count of conspiracy to violate the Georgia Controlled Substance Act. The June indictment alleged that Quando Rando was a member of the Rolling 60s gang and he asked fellow gang members to provide him with a gun and to help him to set up a marijuana sale. On February 1st, less than 2 months after the federal indictment was unsealed, Chatham County Superior Court Judge Tammy Stokes placed the upcoming trial of Bowman on a dead docket, citing the federal case, which included charges arising out of the same transaction and occurrence. The case remains on the dead docket, according to court records, which postpones it indefinitely, but allows the court to reinstate it at any time at its discretion. In other words, he bet not move a muscle the wrong way, because there's one case that's sitting on the books that's waiting for him. And as soon as he does, they're bringing that back because they have the right to do that. Quando Rando, the government agrees. He pleads guilty, and he will remain on bond until it's time for him to turn himself in to do his time. Now, in a separate incident, Quando Rando was arrested February 6th for an incident that occurred July 19th of 2023 when he was charged with reckless driving and driving under the influence of drugs. A trial in that case is actually scheduled for February of 2025. He will already be in prison doing 33 months when that trial date starts. So this young man's been getting in a whole lot of trouble. He got one case on the dead dockets. He got one case that's active that's about to be called up just a month after he starts serving 33 months for his other case that he just beat. Just a whole bag of cases. On June 19th, a man filed a lawsuit against Quando Rando, alleging that on July 19th, 2023, Quando Rando crashed into his car, causing him bodily injuries and more than $8,000 in medical bills. And that case also remains ongoing. Damn. Prison might be a lifesaver for him. He seemed like he was crashing out. But on top of that, though, and talking about why these young brothers get a whole lot of money and fame and then go super, super crazy and start doing weird things that gets them in trouble and gets them stripped of these things that they have worked so hard to achieve. Somebody said, listen, man, these guys are federal informants. They're agents. Their reward that they're given is access to the entertainment industry. And with it, they'll get the fame and everything else. In return, they work for the feds. That's the reason why they can have 3, 4, 5 cases out on things that the average person commits one of those, you doing years in prison. And I can't, once that was said to me, I can't help but keep on looking at it like, how come he not in prison? Why does he keep getting let go? Anyways, I wish him all the best, and I hope he get out of this one and turn his life around. That's all I gotta say. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I'll catch you on the next video. It's BrainFLoTv / Hot Topics TV. You already know if the topic is hot. We're on it. I'm out. Peace.